Really, really important stuff that we want to be doing. So pay attention, ask questions, think very deeply about it, because a lot of these issues, well, a couple of these issues reach us beyond this auditorium, beyond this campus, to a local level, state level, and federal level. So just pay attention. So the first thing I want to talk about is financial aid. The House over the weekend passed H.R. 1, continuing resolution, so the government doesn't shut down, which I guess is a good thing. But inside H.R. 1 is an enormous cut to federal financial aid for students, particularly with regards to Pell Grants and CIOD and LEAP funding, all which have direct effects to students who go here. And a significant majority, or not a majority, excuse me, a significant amount of students who come here who are Pell Grant eligible, and this would cut a lot of their funding. This is a very interesting concept. It's passed the House. The Senate is voting on their bill. Based on the party control in both houses, you have to think that they won't match, but there will be some sort of compromise on that. So because of the pending compromise, and also because of the pending Senate vote, I would encourage every single one of you to get on the phone with Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Congresswoman Burkle, or your representatives at home and talk about this, because it's a really, really important issue. We have a lot of students who will be affected by it. Dave?
Is that $845?
So it would take that right off the top. So Pell Grants are, I'll give you the exact, I'll forward an email with all the real details.
Maximum Pell Grant got cut by $845.
Right.
For removing one.
Per student.
Yeah, so 1.7 million had less than
and if you look at this one is an interesting one too. We have a lot of students also in New York State's tuition assistance program. That's $1 billion that's now removed from that funding. So, time to be a citizen. Time to be, first of all, time to be a student rep, and time to be a citizen of the United States. And get on the phone and write some letters or something and talk to them, because this is an important issue. Really, really important issue. We had a letter that went out to all students who either receive financial aid now or used to receive financial aid, encouraging them to also contact their senators and representatives to make sure that they know exactly how it's being affected. Any of you who would like to attend with me tomorrow evening, Congresswoman Burkle, who is the representative for the New York 25th, which is our district, is holding a town hall meeting in Liverpool. If you'd like to go and attend and talk about,
I'll be there as well. So
talk about students cutting in their income. Okay. Now, did everybody read the editorial in DO today regarding acceptance rates at SU? I just want to clear some things up. There's actually a downward trend in acceptance rate at SU. We got the data today, and it looks like in 2002 we had an 80% acceptance rate compared to 50-something, high 50s or 60-something% this year. I don't know exactly what it was this year, but
there was an article in the DO about this today.
That's what he just said.
yeah.
Hey Alyssa, how's the game doing?
So I just wanted to make sure this is cleared up. We're actually seeing a downward trend in acceptance rates over the last couple of years, and I don't think that article, the editorial, made that clear. So at the same time, as we increase our competitiveness and lower our acceptance rate, we're also increasing our concept of inclusiveness on campus, which is a really important issue for us. As students, not necessarily every single college student has to come from the Northeast or from the same socioeconomic background. There's a lot of things that come with that, and we have strategically brought in students from around the country and around the world, and those bring their own challenges, but one of them is definitely not as far as competitive or acceptance rates with them being that high. If you look at it, we have record numbers of applicants this year, which is a great thing, which doesn't mean that we're becoming a less competitive university. I don't think that's not my concept. And I pose the question to most of you: do you really want a homogeneous campus? I don't. I think that there's no inherent trade-off between acceptance rates and diversity or inclusion. Any questions on that?
Are they planning on decreasing acceptance rates in the future?
Well, it's an interesting conversation as far as that I had with Don Sala, Vice President of Enrollment Management today. And I'll get into your questions. You don't have to sit your hands up. The acceptance rate, I believe, will be down this year. Again, for the coming fall. Again, it's a very complicated, very in-depth formula regarding acceptance rates? Because how many schools did you apply to?
9.
And you went to 1, right? So the concept is that we admit students, we accept students, and then they choose which ones to go to, right? So you look at, there's a very, very intense formula to look at that. And a lot of it has to do with economic impact. What's the economic situation of the country look like right now? Which is, I think, my estimate would be why you saw a higher acceptance rate the last 2 years, because you have to account for that and a higher admissions rate. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Sean?
From what are you determining homogeneous campus from? Do you mean like by academic success? Well, it'd be good to have
Well,
homogeneous
that's-
really successful.
What I'm talking about is socioeconomic background. We have one of the higher amounts of students who are Pell Grant eligible, which shows a very broad diversity of socioeconomic backgrounds from different geographic regions of the country. With our new programs in LA, it brings a lot of different things in. Look, Sean's from LA, right? We don't want to get rid of him. Right? So,
I'd love to be back in LA now.
the concept is when I pose a question of homogeneous campus, I'm not talking about academic quality.
Right.
Okay,
Do our
I'm talking-
statistics currently show anything like it's working its way towards that?
Um,
I see a lot of diversity.
I'm not. I didn't hear your question.
Like, I mean, when you pose that question, it sounds like you're posing that from your statistics you previously said. Like,
Well, that's what I talked about. We have a very high number of students who are Pell Grant eligible, compared to benchmark to other schools. So, that to me, and I think a lot of people would draw the same conclusion, that you have to see a much more broad concept of socioeconomic background. Okay?
I think the point that Neal's trying to make is that by homogeneous meaning all rich white kids, because with the Pell Grants being gone, students who are just as academically able to come to Syracuse but cannot financially, and that might have a direct correlation to race in some areas it does by socioeconomic standards, that's the point that Neal's trying to make. Homogeneous by meaning white, upper class, and smart at the same time, that we have to have the same, we also have to have the same ability for students who are not as economically fortunate as others, and that's how he's tying that in with the Pell Grant.
I think there was one more over here, at least.
I think
Or
mine,
Alex?
but,
Okay.
it was nothing.
PJ?
I just have a comment. Not non-rich white kids are on the Pell Grant.
I didn't say all.
There's
a correlation.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any comments on this? This is interesting to keep track of, and I hope to get you guys some more information on it. And it's an important discussion. This was actually brought up at the University Senate meeting last Wednesday. Interesting discussion. Okay. Another thing going on in the government. This is city. On Thursday, I went down to see to the council chambers to look at to listen to a public meeting held on behalf of Councilor Kestner, who is the chair of that committee, looking at shrinking the special neighborhood district. Does anybody know what the special neighborhood district is? Eileen?
I don't want to talk. I just was raising my hand.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know what it is, though. It's like the neighborhood on Euclid, Lancaster, all those where students can live.
It's much larger than just Euclid
Yes,
Avenue.
the rental
It goes all the way
area.
down to the borders of Thornton Park on the east side, and then out towards East Colvin, but I don't think it goes all the way that far because deep into the neighborhood. So the concept is that there's a lot more restrictions that are placed around rental properties and what's called owner occupancy or owner occupancy people residing in their homes. So there's an interesting debate taking place regarding renters and students in the neighborhood and what the neighborhood looks like and what does the future of the neighborhood look like. I really hope to bring you guys a real in-depth presentation on it. So probably going to take a whole meeting to discuss this because my stance is, my personal belief is that we shouldn't be limiting student housing in the neighborhood. We have international students living out as far as James Street, when it takes an hour to get a bus to campus. And we have the opportunity for housing in a close neighborhood. Why would we try and limit that? There's a really in-depth discussion that needs to take place as far as what is our obligation to the community in which we live, what is their obligation to us, that type of thing. It's an interesting situation, and a lot more comments need to be made on it. Bonnie?
Did you say you're going to bring someone from government?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. We'll see if we can get anybody to come and really give us some background information on it. And right now, the university's official stances are neutral on this proposal. I don't think being neutral is the best thing for us to do as student association. So I think that we need to take a lot more in-depth look at this, and I hope to give it to you in some sort of resolution proposal as far as what we feel. Any other questions on this? Okay, so on Wednesday I went to the Student Life Committee and University Senate, like we talked about last Tuesday. And what they're doing is really investigating concerns with regards to international students and some of the challenges that they face. Really didn't really know what the process is for an international student coming to school in Syracuse. It's got to be a scary thing. Just think about most of us showed up on campus as a freshman from the United States and probably were scared. Imagine coming from a different country. So there's a lot of different concerns. We talked about housing. Housing is a big issue with international students as far as when they first arrive here in the summertime to where they're living off, like they're living off campus and what the deal is with that. Specifically with regards to the English Language Institute, where some people come here, spend some time at the ELI before they can enroll in classes at SU. So there's a lot of different issues, and I think there's a really, really great opportunity here for SA to kind of contribute in improving the student experience and what they can get out of it. So there's the committee's really doing some really great investigative work as far as what issues international students experience. Questions on that? Cool. Okay, so I just wanted to talk. This is a little more fun and pretty cool. Jeff, Sean, and I are working on yourstudentfee.syr.edu, and you guys familiar with recovery.gov?
Yes.
Recovery.gov is where you can track the stimulus spending and where your tax dollars are going. Same concept. We're going to put up as much relevant information as possible so every student on campus can see it and find out how their student fee is actually being spent. So our goal is to have it up by the middle to end of April to make sure that everyone can see how their money was spent over this spring. And big thanks to Sean because he's really leading this and he's going to turn around an awesome website. I believe he's already reserved the domain, right? Yep. So it's ours. We're ready to go. Okay.
I have a question about our essay website. How many hits do we normally get?
That is a very good question. I'll get back to you.
We're counting. There's too many to count.